Yeah, man. That is just disgusting. Yo, what is up, everybody, and welcome to my first Borderlands 4 build guide. This is going to be my first build guide I've ever made. It is going to be for Harlo. The reason why I'm doing Harlo is because this is the best build in Borderlands 4 I've used so far, and I want to make sure that everyone is aware of this build. This is not a new build. It's not an original build. All the credit to this build is actually going to Nick 2. I found this build on Mobilytics. I'm going to have it linked in the description, so all the credit in the world goes to him. Obviously, some things on my build are a little tweaked, a little different, but it mainly is the same. It's the same build. It's the same premise, so all the credit in the world goes to Nick 2. The link is going to be in the description. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So as you can see, I just melted that boss. This is a end game build, and it is very straightforward with how you're going to be using this build, how you play with it. It's an incredibly strong build. Like I said, the best build I've used so far in Borderlands 4. And here we go. Let's get right into it. So this build is going to be focusing on buffing the Chroma Accelerator. So obviously the Chroma Accelerator is your big nuke ball. So yeah, basically this whole build is playing around the Chroma Accelerator. So let's get started off with the gun. What gun are you going to be using? Well, you're going to be using Katagawa's Revenge. There are other guns you can use in this build that are viable. You can definitely play around with it yourself. But from what I understand, Nick 2 built this build and made this build around Katagawa's Revenge. This is the gun that you're pretty much playing around. This is the gun that you need. For firmware, I am definitely not min-max on this build. He suggests high caliber. So as you can see, I'm definitely not min-max in this build. Still is just absolutely insane. But with high caliber, you're getting projectile speed, gun damage, and bullets piercing enemies. So this is probably the preferred firmware, according to him. So I only have 1 of 3, but when you get 3 of 3, it's going to be even better. For your rep kit, as you can see, I just have Kill Sprain with Blood Siphon and Amp. I think your rep kit, to be completely honest, is completely up to you. The preferred rep kit is probably the triple bypass. I don't have a good one, so I'm not using it. I think any rep kit you use is probably going to be fine. I don't think the rep kit is going to make or break this build. So obviously the triple bypass is what is recommended, but I think you can get away with pretty much anything. Ordnance doesn't really matter in my opinion. I don't use my ordnance, so it can kind of be anything you want. Obviously the crit knife is going to make the build better, you know. It's still OP, still hasn't been nerfed. So the crit knife is definitely your recommended ordnance. I don't have one, so... but I don't even use my ordnance on this build, so it really doesn't matter. All right, let's get into the class mod. The class mod, you are going to want the Skeptic. Whenever Harlo slams an enemy in stasis, automatically fires radiation darts and cryo darts. So as you can see from the Skeptic, I am getting +5 into indiscreet math, +1 in concurrence, and +1 in a stun lock. And getting the +5 into indiscreet math is huge, so I would definitely go for that role. But there are other roles that'll work fine too. Mainly, the Skeptic is just good because you get the 45% stasis damage, but the +5 indiscreet math is going to be huge. For the shield, you are going to want the Watts for Dinner legendary shield. Why are you going to want the Watts for Dinner? Well, for this Overshield Eater perk, energy so that active enemies have a 12% chance to drop an Overshield, and when that Overshield is active, it grants 25% shock damage. Why is that good? Well, because we're using Katagawa's Revenge and we're using the shock bullets, so that's just going to make it even better. This shield, you really need Siphon on it. Siphon is the role that you want when dealing damage, 10% chance to grant the Overshield. So that Overshield is going to trigger and then grant that 25% shock damage. If you don't have a Watts for Dinner, the Super Soldier works well too. I was actually using the Fireworks on it for a minute, and it worked well too, but the Watts for Dinner is definitely my preferred shield and what I recommend, but you need to have Siphon on it to really, you know, min-max and have that preferred shield. So for the enhancement, we have the Blind Box. Why do we have the Blind Box? It's because this perk, Bounce Pass, is one of the most important perks of the build. Guns with Jacob license parts increase the number of possible ricochets by 1. Increasing the number of ricochets gives you more balls in Katagawa's Revenge, which makes the build even better. I also have Leaper. Leaper, I think, is amazing because you get the Jacob's license parts gain a 40% chance to ricochet, which is going to lead right into Bounce Pass, which also leads into Katagawa's because it has Jacob's. So I think this Blind Box with Bounce Pass and Leaper is definitely your best bet for an enhancement. All right, let's move over into the skill tree. So obviously, our main tree is going to be the red tree with the Chroma Accelerator. This whole build is built around the Chroma Accelerator, gaining more damage for it and playing around it. When you start off in the skill tree, you're going to want to go right straight down. You're going to get Field Ready Prototype, Action skill damage, obviously, pretty self-explanatory. We're going down into elementary to gain that increased elemental damage and status effect, and then we're going down into enrich to gain radiation damage. You're going to want to pick up Neuron Capture. All damage Harlow's unstable pocket deals to enemies is stored. Basically, when this is stored, it's going to transfer a portion of that to Harlow's gun, causing her to deal the bonus radiation damage. When this damage is stored, it's just going to make Katagawa's Revenge even better, baby. This is definitely going to be the one you want to pick up, Neuron Capture. You're also going to want to pick up in this top tree Elephant's Foot. Whenever Harlow's shield breaks, she deals radiation damage to all entangled enemies, and she gains an overshield equal to the amount of damage dealt this way. This all plays into the build. I think this top tree is pretty self-explanatory. I also picked up one into the increased fire rate because I think you needed to get down into the next tree. I'm not entirely sure, or if I just had skill points left over, but I did put one just to gain some increased fire rate. And then in the bottom skill tree, let's start off on the left side. We have 5 into practical applications. Harlow gains increased skill damage. Skill damage goes up 35%. Middle tree, we went 5 into Poison Sun. She's gaining increased radiation damage and irradiation chance. So these percentages, this isn't something, I don't think I'm saying something here that's not known within the community, but if you are a new player, this definitely helps to know. These percentages are absolutely massive. Like 30% radiation damage, 60% irradiation chance absolutely changes the game. That's why you want to go 5 out of 5 into Poison Sun. And then over here on the right, we have Chain Reactor. Again, more bonus radiation damage. All we're doing is pumping damage into the Chroma Accelerator. That is the main point of this build. You're going to get 18% of damage dealt in the radiation damage. We also have 2 out of 3 in Abyssal Launcher. When she damages an irritated enemy or entangled enemy, she shoots darts at another enemy. We're going down 1 out of 1 in a Dirty Bomb. When she irritates an enemy, you create a radiation explosion, 40% of total irradiated damage. Obviously, you guys are kind of understanding the point of why the skill points are where they are. We're basically building up the radiation damage, building up the action skill damage, building up everything to make this Chroma Accelerator just deal massive damage. That's basically the whole point of the whole build. And then this is the capstone. We're going to be using Demon Core. As Harlow's unstable energy pocket travels, it shoots radiation darts at enemies. When she entangles an enemy, it automatically irritates that enemy and does all of this radiation damage that we're speccing into. And then on the right side, we went 5 out of 5 into Mechanical Brilliance. Whenever Harlow damages an enemy with a skill, she gains increased skill damage. This affects stacks. A stack is absolutely huge. 10% per stack, 12 durations, max stacks of 5. Then we also went 3 out of 5 into Highly Efficient, which is her kill skill. When she kills an enemy with a skill, restore a portion of her shield capacity. Just a little bit of lifeline. Highly Efficient is one of those that skill points were just left over. We wanted to put a little bit into the shield to gain a little bit of health. So the shield capacity restored is 24%. And then we head over into the blue tree. The blue tree, you're going to go 5 out of 5 into Extraordinary. Harlow gains critical hit chance with all skills. Why is this good? Well, the Katagawa's Revenge, as you know, is your main gun. When you're getting crits, it's bouncing, it's ricocheting the projectiles to nearby enemies. So basically, this blue tree is good because it's gaining critical hit chance with all the skills. We have Periodic Table Flip. You're going to want to go 5 into here. Gains increased elemental damage, status effect, chance, and cryo effectiveness. Obviously, the elemental damage with all the radiation damage we're doing, the status effects, the cryo effectiveness. 20% is a huge boost that you absolutely need. We also have the skills that are being boosted up by the Skeptic, which is 1 out of 5 into Concurrence. She gains increased action skill duration for every entangled enemy. You're getting 1 out of 1 into Stun Lock. Whenever Harlow critically hits an enemy, briefly puts that enemy into stasis. This form of stasis lasts for a short duration until the enemy is shot again. This is huge and a very good skill that is being added from your class mod. And 5 out of 5 from the class mod in Indiscreet Math. Like I mentioned before, this is the most important one. Harlow gains increased splash damage, 35% splash damage, which is absolutely massive. So yeah, basically this red and blue tree, all is complementing Chroma Accelerator. This whole build is built around playing the Chroma Accelerator. Your big nuke ball. It's very fun to play. It makes mobbing and bossing absolutely insane. Every one of these has a purpose. Credit to Nick2 again for making this build because it's the best build I've used in Borderlands 4 so far. Okay, and then for your specializations. In my opinion, the 2 most important ones you should go after first are in Daredevil, which is now with Caffeine, which reduces the action skill cooldown whenever a rep kit is activated, basically going to allow you to get your ball faster. And then I Am a Gun, action skill gun damage. Our action skill damage now benefits from increases to gun damage. And you can see these boosts. Your action skill gets reduced by 25%, action skill damage, 50% of increases to gun damage. Just absolutely massive buffs that are very necessary to the build. The other two suggested ones that I think are going to make this build the best it can possibly be is Riddle You This and also a Honed Mind. As you can see, I am not using any of those just because I don't have enough specialization points to put those into yet. But obviously, Honed Mind action skills gain a chance to critically hit enemies with a 5% crit chance, 50% critical damage, which is huge. And then Riddle You This, obviously, is pretty much on every build. But to be completely honest, I think these two, Now with Caffeine and I Am a Gun, are the two most important ones that you need. Which are the two you'll probably get first unless you spec straight down into Brute. But I would suggest going into Daredevil and picking up these two as quick as you can to make sure you have Now with Caffeine and I Am a Gun. Alright, so now we are going to show this build in action, baby. So I'm going to do a vault real quick. This is kind of giving us the best of both worlds, where we're going to be able to show you the mobbing portion and then show you a boss portion of this build. So playing with this build, very fun, very easy. So I'm going to show you all exactly what you're going to want to do. Pretty much you're doing this over and over again. So right here, shoot your ball, goes down. You're going to shoot your balls. Shoot your balls. Going to instantly take out everybody. Instantly take out everybody, man. It's crazy. I know I'm only on Vault Hunter 1, and that's because I just made this Harlo, so I don't have Vault Hunter 5. So basically, same thing. You get your action skill back. We shoot it. And then you shoot your balls down at everybody. Shoot your balls down, and it's going to go crazy. You see everyone just dying over here. Everyone is just dying. Get your action skill back. Shoot it down. Shoot your balls. Shoot the balls, baby. I mean, this is just insane. It's insane, dude. It's absolutely nuts. This is by far the best build I've used in Borderlands 4, man. But yeah, man, it's very simple to play. I hope I'm making it, you know, look as simple as it is. As soon as you make the build and pretty much spec into everything, you get all your preferred gear. It's just a very easy build to use, man. Chroma accelerator down. Shoot your balls. I mean, everything is dead. Everything is dead. Everything in sight's dead. This is just so much fun. It's just so much fun, man. You can see mobbing is literally, I think it's the best mobbing build in the game. There are definitely other things you can do with bosses, but you're about to see, even with bosses, man, it's just absolutely insane. It's just absolutely insane. Alright, let's get it. Chrome accelerator. Shoot him a little bit. And he's dead. I mean, dude. Like, actually, come on, man. Like, come on, bro. Yo. It's just sick, man. This is by far the best build that I've used in Borderlands 4. And if you're using Harlo and not using, like, a variation of this, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing because this is just absolutely busted. But yeah, boys, that's going to be the end of the build guide. Again, make sure you guys show love to Nick, too. I'm going to have his link in the description. All the credit in the world, as I've said multiple times in this video, goes to him for making this build. This is not my build. I am just showcasing it because it's the best build that I've used so far. Yeah, man, if you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. Subscribe for more Borderlands content, baby. I will see y'all later. Peace.